Hey y'all, my name is Alex. I live in upstate New York. You probably have seen my governor on every single day for the last 3 months covering COVID and how New York State is opening up. I'm sure you and your states and counties and towns are in different phases as much as the rest of us are. I hope while we were under quarantine, everyone was safe and healthy. Those with you with families, your rock stars, keeping them engaged online and trying to keep a schedule and routine going. Good for you. You guys deserve many pats on the back. Those that have been affected by the last 2 weeks of protests and riots, my heart is with you. We've all been heard. We've all been seen. I pray every day that change does come because everyone's life matters. That's my opinion. So, getting on with this video. My personal background, I have a bachelor's in psychology, working on my master's here with Cretin with the rest of you for our school counseling degree. Excuse me. I don't work in a school setting, much like the rest of my cohort classmates. However, I had 2 years of classroom experience when I was a TA for Head Start. I worked with the preschoolers. They were ages 3 to 5. I thoroughly enjoyed working with them. They were the greatest eye-opening experience that gave me a taste of wanting to be into education, because when I was in high school, I always wanted to be a music teacher, and I eventually got talked out of it, and my life has changed ever since then. So it was nice to get a taste of working with students, providing them with the necessary tools and resources to become successful, even at a young age of 3 or 4 or 5 years old. Working with the teacher that I was working with and seeing how the students were engaged, how we had to redirect their attention, deal with the behaviors in the classroom. I was young and naive. I was in my early 20s, but it was still a very satisfying experience that I got to have, and I still go back on a lot of those 2 years and what I did, what I could have done differently, knowing what I know now, how I could have approached something differently. So I use that as my only, because it is my only educational background as far as a classroom setting, going through the 2 sets of practicum that we had to do and the first half of the internship, because unfortunately I had to step back in the spring semester, so I am shy 200 hours on the internship, so I will be doing the fall and spring of the 2021 school year, finishing that up. So using the hours from practicum in the first half of the internship, going into the classrooms, I felt I was really good. I definitely took the critique from the counselors I was with, even the teachers who were in the classroom still. And I just kept building on every experience of going into the classrooms. And I felt that was very informational, formative. It was great to reflect because they would ask me, okay, what do you think you did? What could you have done better? What will you do better for the next time? And it was nice to have those conversations going back and forth. And feeling confident in front of the classroom, I feel, is something that all of us as counselors have to have. And if you're confident, the reaction from the students will be better than if you're in there and you're not confident, you're looking down at your paper, you're not really sure what you're talking about, so on and so forth. So, with the culmination of everything we've had to do for Cretin thus far, and then my 2 years, 100,000 years ago, as a TA, have really brought me to where I am today. And I know I just keep rambling on. However, I need to point in there that as my current job I'm a school bus driver. With COVID, I've been furloughed, so I haven't seen my kids since the beginning of March. However, in the last 4.5 years that I've been driving, before I started this program with Cretin, there were a lot of different techniques that I would use with my students on the bus to have better positive behaviors on the bus and reinforcing those positive behaviors. And if there were negative behaviors, we had consequences, so on and so forth. It wasn't until we started this program in September of 2008, or sorry, summer of 2018, and then we continued on, that as we read our text and we had conversations and we provided assignments, written out papers, so on and so forth, that I really realized that the last 5 years, 5 or 6 years, I had been doing a lot of what we were given as far as tools and resources, and most prominently was with my school bus students, especially if I had them for 3 years at a time. So that was very refreshing, reassuring, knowing that I picked this degree and this field to go into. I'm very certain that this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to help my students, so on and so forth. So yeah, so going through the last year and a half or so, 2 years, what have you, of Cretin has really opened my eyes to a lot of different tactics of how to deal with or cope, manage, all those with the students, with teachers, so on and so forth. Because no matter where you are, whether you work in a school, such as some of my classmates where they actually physically work in the school, or you're like me who's a bus driver, you're going to deal with the students every day. You're going to deal with the parents. You're going to deal with teachers. You're going to deal with administration, because everything is intertwined. Sometimes it might be chaotic. Sometimes it might be nice. However, I feel my past background will only help me in the future. With that being said, I read the first couple chapters of our one book, with the classroom management, and I just have to say that I'm so eager to read more into that and really hone in on that, because I noticed in my fall internship, dealing with fourth, fifth, and sixth graders, and the fact that they knew me outside of school as their bus driver. I started off really rocky, having a hard time. Hey, that's me as a bus driver. This is me as a counseling student. You have to call me Miss Weir. We have to conform to a different way. Outside of school, it's completely different. As I got through the fall internship, some of the students, which we all encounter, call out, they act out, they're looking for attention, whatever you want to label it. My brain doesn't work that fast sometimes. So my management skills were a little poopy. So I would, at the end of our lessons, the counselor that I was working with, and her and I, we would sit, we would talk about it. She'd give me some pointers. I'd be like, well, I feel like, X, Y, and Z would have worked better, but she's like, no, A, B, and C, so let's try it next time. And eventually we just melded everything together and it all worked. However, I could have probably used this book during internship, so I'm really excited to get into it. So, with that being said, I went over my life, my educational background, my unique experiences. I'm a bus driver. I love my job. However, I feel I have a higher potential to serve my student-based community and my community itself with parents and families. So that's why I chose to go into counseling. I look forward to seeing everyone again, and I want to congratulate all of you for making it this far. You're almost done. You have 10 weeks to go. You're going to be graduates. You're going to go on to bigger, greater things, and I wish everyone well. Thanks, guys.